Shalom. Call Halayim, La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kodash. The abundance to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and who have taught us this knowledge through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Salutations and honors to you, fellow laborers out there doing the work in truth and in sincerity, especially during these times. Shalom to the few Akwaf that believe as well. A hearty shalom to you other laborers and believers that are scattered throughout the face of the earth, even if you're among the heathen, and even like the heathen who are respectable Israelites, to the household of faith, which is the elect. I want to say shalom to you all. All right, back at you with another quick word, and edifying lesson, and a lot to unpack here, but Lord willing, we can get through it, and Lord willing, it's edifying. Now, with the Straits of Hormuz being continuously shut to the West and its allies, we're starting to see the global economy, basically come to a halt, all right, slowly but surely or gradually. And with that, it's going to cause, a disruption in the whole global, commerce and trade and logistics, which is going to involve, basically things to come to an end as far as, jobs. As you can see, goods are not going to flow the way they normally would, due to energy crisis. And that's a big dent on logistics as well, because, logistics, that's like one of the heartbeats of society. Because when you look at logistics, that involves everything. Every job you can think of deal with logistics, as far as the transporting of goods, from the ships to the semi-trucks. And this is something that affects, the global logistic chain, because every country has shipping ports. All right, every country has semi-trucking that, transport from the shipping trucks to the different distribution centers and warehouses, if you will, to the stores or market stores or what have you. And they can involve what auto industry, agriculture, medical, all the above, So we're going to see everything come to a standstill here in the moment. And the scriptures speak about that, the ships of Tarshish, which I'm going to get here in a second. And we're seeing the ships of Tarshish, slowing down as far as, the goods, because the price of transporting these goods is going up, and once you do a price adjustment, as far as contractual agreements, the price adjustment got to be, higher than normal, because with energy costs going up, well, it's going to cost more to transport goods, from land to land, or sea to sea, to the different lands, and everything will have to be, basically increased. And what it's going to do is it's going to cause the different, jobs to come to a disagreement with basically the different brokers and different truckers, because truckers got to get their profit as well. They got to get their fuel costs risen, and if the customer don't want to pay it, or the client don't want to pay it, then it can't get transported. So some got to give, okay? Some got to give, but that's going to cause everyone to take a big loss, So I got a video clip I want to play for you. This is from That Boy Will. I want to say fair use, fair use. My videos are not monetized, only for literary commentary and educational purposes. So with that, fair use, fair use. It says truckers can't afford diesel anymore. Yeah, because again, the Straits of Hormuz is causing an energy crisis, right, globally. Okay, even though they say it's 20% of the world's global supply, but 20% is causing a big effect, in a major way. So let's see what they're saying. Fair use again under 1976, Section 107 Fair Use Act. Let's get right into it.
Hauling containers from about 4, right? And it says container ships transport the vast majority of the U.S. imports, with roughly 95% of the world's total cargo moved by sea. In 2025, the U.S. container.
Let me play that back. So you can hear it, because that's actually something that's important. 95% of the world's goods are transported by sea is a big deal, especially involving Babylon, which is America, which is it's a major importing country, because hardly anything is produced here in America. All right, America hardly exports anything, but they import a lot of its goods, the things that the consumers buy, that we the people buy. It's all mainly due to imports. Okay, that's why you'll see the made in China, the made in Taiwan, made in India, and different things like that, because a lot of it is imported. So the things you use and buy on the daily is usually made in other countries. So the ships are a major part of bringing in those goods. Okay.
Or the vast majority of the U.S. imports, with roughly 95% of the world's total cargo moved by sea. In 2025, the U.S. container imports remained high, with August reaching 2.5 million TEUs. Now I want you to really pay attention to this. Really pay attention to this. Key goods. Top containerized imports include furniture, auto parts, apparel, and electronics, say the Port of Los Angeles.
Crazy.
What do trucks need to keep on moving? Auto parts. And these trucks, they break down left and right, especially these newer model trucks. So if they cannot afford fuel at $15, which I don't think is going to get there, but $7, $8, $9 even, is going to put people out of business. But if they cannot afford $7, $8, $9, they're not going to be able to afford $15. And if their trucks break down, they're going to have to pay for the not the electronics, but they're going to have to pay for the auto parts to fix that truck. And that's going to be at a high price. So when you see that, when you see fuel prices and auto parts going skyrocketing, you're going to see companies plunder. Mm-hmm. And that is why.
Yeah, companies going to plunder, because why? That's going to be the fulfillment of Ecclesiastes 12. Okay, let me get it real quick. All right, the book of Ecclesiastes 12. Excuse me. Companies are going to fold because let me give them the blue letter. But companies are going to fold because they would rather fold and take a loss that way versus continuously take a loss due to energy costs. All right, energy costs skyrocketing, as the Jake is going into, right? So this is Ecclesiastes 12. I'll start at verse 3. All right, says Ecclesiastes 12 and 3, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, right? Because the main part I want to harp on is the grinders, which represents the working class. The working class is going to cease because when the companies start to shut down, well, there's going to be a few jobs out here, man. Very few. And you already got millions upon millions that have lost their jobs, even from the pandemic, even to now. That Trump second term, we well over a year into his second term, and this guy was causing people to lose jobs, left and right. So there's been millions upon millions that have lost their job in the last past 12 to 15 months. Okay, from every sector, from the tech sector to the agriculture to the automobile industry, the industrial manufacturing, all that stuff. Okay, people have lost their jobs, man. Whether it's from immigration, the ICE, deporting a lot of Latin tribes, and that's a big dent on agriculture in itself. The point is, the jobs are drying up, man. Okay, verse 4, I want to read verse 4 on the NLT. It says, remember him before the door to life's opportunity is closed and the sound of work fades, right? Because what you're saying is work is fading. And the Lord said what? He will cause every work of Egypt to fail. Let me get that real quick. Isaiah 19, starting at verse 14, it says, the Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Right. And every work in Egypt, which America is spiritually Egypt, man. It is basically staggering, man. All right, and that's causing, this place to basically to fall, man. All right, because what's going on is, people is, losing their jobs due to, the job closing down, and you have layoff cuts, because once the job started losing so many profits, what they start to do is to cut the unwanted high salary workers, then they cut the, number of laborers that they have within their company. They cut costs and to try to so-called stop the bleeding, the bleeding from, losing profits by cutting labor costs. That's the way it works in most of these jobs, They'll cut the laborers, they'll cut the cost of labor down by so much, meaning they'll cut down the workforce, and the workforce will become smaller and smaller, and you'll start to see, a lot of people unemployed, and there's already a lot of people that's unemployed as it is. So what you'll see is, unemployment lines become, even more longer than they already are right now. Verse 15, it says, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. Right. So the Lord is going to take away, basically the jobs from you people, man. And we've been telling you that this evil is going to come upon you, because what you see going on is all through the Spirit, all right, that we've been, talking about these things and the coming great evil to this place you call America, because this place is set to collapse, man. All right, Babylon the Great is set to collapse. So we're watching this place implode, from within, okay? The economy is through. Basically the dollar can collapse at any given moment, man, and that's it. And the Straits of Hormuz is putting a big pressure point or choke point on the dollar, man. Even though it's already ready to go out, the Straits of Hormuz is causing a big choke on it, because everything is inflating. Basically, we're watching things inflate or hyperinflate. Basically the beginning of hyperinflation that's starting to happen as well, man. Okay, just to play a little more.
This is why when you see in my last video, a lot of owner operators are saying, hey, I might just put my truck down, and they may just go work for a different company until things level back out. That is why. That is exactly why, because they are not going to be able to afford, if their truck breaks down, the fuel, and these companies with multiple trucks are not going to be able to make it. They're just not. Yeah, doom and gloom, that's what it is. But shit getting real in the field.
Yeah, doom and gloom is going to come to you people. All right, doom and gloom. Hey, the scriptures say what? In this book, there are written what? Mourning, lamentations, and woes. And that's exactly what's coming to the people, man. Mourning, lamentations, and woes. Okay, it says in Jeremiah 28, excuse me, Jeremiah 28 and 8, it says that what? That the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and great kingdoms of war, evil, and pestilence. And that's what's coming to this great kingdom right here, evil, man. Okay? But in particular, the ships, in fact, let's get the other video clip. The ships, right? The ships of Tarshish, man, is gonna close, man. or come to a halt, man. Because that's what America really represents. The ships of Tarshish, and I'm gonna get that real quick. Once it's bear with me 1 second. It's gonna play a commercial, so bear with me for a second.
Granger knows that as an HVAC technician, the heat is on you every day. Your first call?
It's like it. I hate them fucking commercials as well, but I want you to hear what the Colonel, retired Colonel Douglas McGregor, what he says about the economy. So with that, again, if you happen to see my video redacted, all right, my videos are not monetized. I don't get any compensation off these videos, only for fair use purposes. I use my videos for literary commentary and educational purposes. So with that, fair use under the 1976 Section 107 Fair Use Act. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. See what they're going into on redacted.
Because we just heard from Ed Dowd. Ed Dowd just made a message about from former BlackRock guy, and he basically said, hey, right now we're entering a phase where panic buying is going to become a reality. You're going to see, to your point about fertilizer shortages, all of these things. It's not just about gasoline prices. It's the wider spread. What you're seeing across the board, all through Southeast Asia right now. So how long until that starts trickling into Europe and into the United States?
Well, I think Europe is already crumbling. Germany in particular is just in the worst imaginable possible position.
And if I may, I'll play it back a little bit. If I may, the panic buying is basically people hoarding up things. Like the pandemic happened, people buying tissue and all whatnot. As far as goods they were storing up. It's the same thing going on right now. People are buying things or panic buying, different goods to stock up on for, worst case scenario. Because they know, people don't understand, but they know something bad is about to happen. You look at the news, man, you clearly see something get ready to go on. Which through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, we bring it out. All right? Through the scriptures, man, the service of prophets, we bring it out. The Lord says up to warn the people. All right? The main people being the Israelites, which are the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American people. But let's play it, though. Let's play the clip. Again, fair use.
Fight purchase. Because we just heard from Ed Dowd. Ed Dowd just made a message about from former BlackRock guy, and he basically said, hey, right now we're entering a phase where panic buying is going to become a reality. You're going to see, to your point about fertilizer shortages, all of these things. It's not just about gasoline prices. It's the wider spread. What you're seeing across the board, all through Southeast Asia right now. So how long until that starts trickling into Europe and into the United States?
Well, I think Europe is already crumbling. Germany in particular is just in the worst imaginable possible position. They've already been through this long process of deindustrialization because Biden decided to destroy the pipeline that brought them cheap energy from Russia. They can't.
And something that the brother Kaya always bring out, which is actually true. It says when Germany cough, Europe catches a sneeze. Germany been taking a big hit, as far as economically because of the actions of America. Okay, Babylon, which they're causing their allies, to suffer.
Business anymore with Russia. Now they're dependent on external sources and the pipelines that are reaching.
It's called the Nord Stream pipeline. It was they already had one completed years ago, but they had a new one in the work that this guy Joe Biden, the president before Donald Trump, he had blew it up, which was a huge deal because NATO allies, the American allies within NATO and the EU, they were able to purchase cheap natural gas from Russia, which is very affordable and it caused them to save money even. But when America blew that pipeline up, guess what? It caused them to what? Have an energy crisis within these countries in Europe. Okay? Would it be again, countries in NATO or the EU, that blowing up of the Nord Stream 2 pipeline was a huge blow, you know. And now they're feeling the effects of it. Okay? And this is something that's making the Tin Horns hate the whore. Okay? Which goes to what? The EU.
Wars are going to be.
Oh, it's like it goes to the EU, man. Those NATO and EU countries, man, that align with the beast or are part of that beast system. They're starting to feel the effects of it. You know?
Off by the Iranians. What do you think happens when the Houthis finally cut off access to the Red Sea? All of this is going to combine to essentially bring the global economy to a halt. And as that begins to develop in a dramatic way and hits...
The global economy is going to come to a halt because what? That works into the hands of the elites, man. You know? Who controls the central bank digital currencies? The elites, man, the Chaldeans, which are the Amalekites. The Amalekites, which are the tiny tops, they're the modern day Chaldeans or Chaldees. Same thing, man. Which was the elites of the Neo-Babylonian Empire that was really running the things behind the scenes. And that's exactly what the elites, all right, they do. As far as some Amalekites that, that run the shit behind the closed doors, those central banking families, they're the modern day Chaldeans or Chaldees, man. Okay? They're supposed to be the wise men and the people. Matter of fact, you go into the history of the Chaldeans, you will see for yourself, man. Okay?
Here at home as well, I think President Trump's war is going to be ended involuntarily, ultimately. But he's going to be in a lot of trouble. If he continues on this route, I think he's going to be a potential victim of the 25th Amendment.
Well, questions swirling about whether...
What you have is, let me see here. Yeah, what you have is, basically steady decay of Babylon the Great. Okay. So it says Isaiah 23 and verse 1, it says, the burden of Tyre, how ye ships, how ye ships of Tarshish, for it is laid waste, so that there is no house, no entering in from the land of Chittim, it is revealed to them, right? And you go into the history of the ships of Tarshish, right? And I took time to look it up so you can see for yourself. Right? It says the ships of Tarshish were large, ocean-going Phoenician merchant vessels of the Old Testament era, which the historical evidence, right, or history. It says designed for long-distance trade, often traveling to Tarshish, likely Spain, to support luxury items, and that goes to like Rome, even before Rome. Okay, but Rome, most notably because they control the area, okay, of Tarshish. It says likely Spain to transport luxury items like gold, silver, ivory, and timber. They symbolize, and that's, that goes into Revelation 18. You go into Revelation 18. So I'll get here real quick. Come. Revelation 18:11. It says, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. Right, and that's because through the American dollar, the merchants or the other countries, they were able to sell their goods to America. They go more because they can't make money no more. They can't make a profit off America no more because the U.S. dollar is going to crash, man. Okay, they're going to crash, and then guess what? No more making, that profit they once were making, because the MOTB system is on deck. All right, this Straits of Hormuz, the system can be brought online any given moment, because that's what the Straits of Hormuz is causing. The global economy to come to a halt again, like you heard the retired Colonel Douglas McGregor say. Okay. Verse 12, the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all dyeing wood and all manner of vessels of ivory and all manner of vessels of most precious wood and of brass and iron and marble and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. Okay? All these things, man, which are bought and sold, right, through the U.S. dollar, which is the currency of Babylon, the currency of the world, or the world reserve currency. Okay? All these things will come to an end. Okay? It says in verse 14, and the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. Yeah, man. Because the Lord is going to cut off Babylon by what? Way of nuclear fire, man. You know? So the merchants are going to weep because guess what? Ain't no ships to bring into the place, you know, the place you call America, because they won't be, you know, showing up at the shipping ports. You know? So back in Isaiah 23 in verse 2, it says, be still, ye inhabitants of the isle, thou whom the merchants of Zidon that pass over the sea have replenished. See? And by great waters, the seed of Sihor, the harvest of the river, is her revenue, and she is a mark of nations. Exactly, man. Everybody, all the nations across the earth sell its goods to America. But what happened? Through sanctioning, through tariffs, you know, the land the land of America, which is Babylon, all right, have caused, you know, it's merchants to basically take a hit financially. Okay, the revenue is not as as far as the amount of revenue they were bringing in. It's not the same amount, basically. Excuse me. It have lesson and lesson. Right? That's why it's getting ready to come to an end. Okay. It says, and America is a mark of nations. Everything's sold here in America because why? They make it in these other countries and nations for cheap, and they sell it for exuberant amount of money right here in Babylon. You know? So, yeah, man. And America is the mark of nations. All right, the mark goes to what? Market. All right, America is the marketplace of the world, where things are bought and sold here. As far as, well, mainly buying. America buys and the nation sell, you know, its goods to this place, you know. But this is what's going on, man. Okay, this is what's going on. Let me see. Let me jump down a little bit. Verse 8. It says, who had taken this counsel against Tyre, the crowning city, whose merchants are princes, and those are what? The billionaires, the Elon Musk of the world, the Gil Bates, you know, whose traffickers are the honorable of the earth, right? These billionaires and these businessmen, these lower level and luminaries that do business and they were a prophet, all right, off of the merchant city, basically, of America. It says, verse 10, pass through thy land as a river, O daughter of Tarshish. There is no more strength, right? Exactly, because your main strength was that you had the world reserve currency, the U.S. dollar. Okay, you had gotten your power in the earth through what? Your military campaign, and then the U.S. dollar was the thing that solidified it, basically. It says, let's sit on that. Let's sit on that. Let me grab something else. The book of Isaiah 47. If I may grab this. Isaiah 47:15 says, thus shall they be unto thee, with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. They shall wander every one to his quarter, none shall save thee, right? Because the judgment of Babylon, all right, it's upon her, okay? And the scriptures say that what? That her sins reach unto heaven. All right, Revelation 18 chapter, man. So the Lord has remembered the sins of America, and now it's getting ready to bring forth that judgment, man. And ain't nothing you can do to pull up that judgment, because this is the will of the Heavenly Father, man. This is the will of Yahweh Shai, man. Okay? As far as everything that's going on with this place, okay? Isaiah 2:12 now look at the subhead. It says a day of reckoning coming, right? Isaiah 2:12, for the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty, and upon everyone that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low. Right, and it says, behold, the Lord said, what? Behold, I'm against thee. Let me see. Let me get that real quick. Jeremiah 15:31. It says, behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, saith the Lord, power of hosts. For thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee. Right, the Lord is getting ready to visit America. Okay. Verse 32, and the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in the cities, and it shall devour all around about him. Right? Because the Lord is working, man. Okay? The Lord is visiting this place. We call it America, and guess what? This place is falling kind of rapidly right now, man. Scriptures say, though it tarry, wait for it, it will surely come. The fall of Babylon the Great, which is America, is happening before our very eyes, man. Okay, back in Isaiah 2 and verse, I read 12 again. It says, for the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty, and upon everyone that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low. And upon all the cedars of Lebanon that are high and lifted up, and upon all the oaks of Bashan, and upon all the high mountains, and upon all the hills that are lifted up. Right, so the Lord is against, all right, hey, the Lord is against them, man. And he's going to bring forth their judgment, because that's the fulfillment of him bringing them low. It says, verse 14, and upon all the high mountains and upon all the hills that are lifted up, all the government, different governments like Moab, looking all proud, like they're going to rule next. You're going to be nothing but a slave next in the kingdom of heaven, ruled by the Israelites under Yahweh Shai and under King David sitting on the throne. You heathen will be nothing but subjects unto us. Okay? It says, and upon all the high mountains and upon all the high hills that are lifted up, and upon every high hill, and upon every high tower, and upon every fenced wall, and upon all the and upon all the ships of Tarshish, and upon all pleasant pictures. Right, the Lord is going to bring down the ships of Tarshish as well, which is America, modern day America. Verse 17, it says, and the loftiness of man shall be brought down, and the haughtiness of men shall be brought or made low, and Yahweh alone shall be exalted in that day. Right, because when you look at the destruction of Babylon the Great, you're gonna know that the true living power, why Yahweh Shai had done it. Okay? You're going to know exactly in that day, man. Verse 18, it says, "In the idols he shall utterly abolish." See? So, we're witnessing, this place come down, man, by the will and power of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Okay? The merchants, they're becoming few due to the straits, being closed. And also due to, also due to what? The fulfillment of the mark of the beast prophecy, man. Right? They nervous. All right, they nervous, man. And they panicking because they have a short time to do what they're gonna do. As far as, hey man. They're nervous, man, because they know the Lord is coming, basically, man. All right, and they know that something get ready to happen out here, leading up to the day of the Lord, because everything is collapsing, man. Everything is collapsing from within, So I'm in it there. Hey, Lord, wasn't even edified with that. I'm gonna give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ruach Kodash. Hey, shalom to the Lord's elect. And I'll see you next video, Lord willing. Shalom to you all. And Lord, when you edified, till then, shalom.